Russia's rocket attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure continue in a bid to undermine morale in the country, cutting off electricity and water supplies in many cities such as Kharkiv and Kyiv. Ukraine claims that 76 rockets were launched from the Russian side in the latest wave, but that air defences stopped many of them. Ukraine's president said in a video statement that 60 missiles were shot down. All air commands, centre, south, east and west stood out. And the fighters of the 96th Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade, which cover the Kyiv region, were especially effective. More than 40 terrorists' rockets were destroyed in the sky of the central regions of the country and near Kyiv. Some rockets were not intercepted, such as this one, which hit a residential building in the town of Kryvyi Rih, killing 3 people and injuring more than a dozen others, including several children. At least 20 people have been killed in protests in Peru, which have also seen dozens injured and arrested. Curfews imposed in several regions have not managed to quell the pro-Castillo demonstrations. Since he was deposed, the security forces have cracked down hard on those who take to the streets. The government declared a state of emergency on Wednesday, granting the police and military extra powers. Interim President Dina Boluarte said that the transition government that she presides over understands and is still listening to the demands of millions of Peruvians that have legitimately raised their voices. Parliament remains in deadlock, with some MPs calling for the presidential elections to be brought forward to 2023 in a bid to calm the protests. But to no avail, the chamber rejected this proposal. Starbucks workers shut CEO Harold Schultz's home store in Seattle on Friday as they launched the first of 3 days of strikes.
Lousy pay, that is how your coffee's made. We can see your greedy side. Union strike.
Workers at the Madison Park branch joined more than 1,000 baristas across 110 Starbucks stalls, also calling for better pay. This strike period will be the longest in the year-old unionisation campaign.
Engines full power and liftoff of
A Falcon 9 carrying 2 of the 11 planned O3B M-Power satellites lifted off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida on Friday.
Of the Merlin vacuum engine.
It was the 8th mission for the rocket's reusable first-stage booster, which landed on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean shortly after liftoff. Using onboard electric propulsion, it will take about 5 months for the Boeing-built O3B M-Power satellites to reach their orbital positions. Truck drivers continued their strike in Jordan on Friday after protesting high fuel prices last week. The industrial action and protests have spread across cities in the Arab Kingdom, with clashes erupting on Thursday. In the city of Man, a senior police figure was fatally shot. Drivers blame rising diesel costs for their mounting losses and are calling on the government to intervene. Ill health continues to plague the French team as the list of those absent from training gets longer. Centre-backs Raphael Varane and Ibrahima Konaté are the latest to be struck down by the flu. The medical team has given no further information about the virus, but says the affected players remain isolated. In Wednesday's semi-final against Morocco, Adrien Rabiot and Dayo Upamecano had to be left out of the lineup due to the illness. Argentina, meanwhile, are untouched by the flu so far and are continuing their preparations for Sunday's final, when both teams will be playing for their 3rd trophy. France have their sights set on becoming the first team in more than 2 decades to win back-to-back World Cups, while the White and Blues will be looking to add the title to Messi's name before he retires.